Speaking of, we're speaking of goats. This is one of the Sacramento goats, man. My main man, Antonio Harvey from the Public Agents. He's with us, man. Tone, what's up, man?
Man, what's good? What's good, KC? Peace in to everybody. I hope everybody out there doing really well.
So for those that are watching on YouTube, they see you got your Illinois Fighting Illini crew neck on right now. That you're from Champaign, aren't you?
Born and raised Champaign, Illinois, home of the University of Illinois Fighting Illini.
How you feel about them?
Oh gosh, man. You know what? Let me start off with this first. I want to thank Sarah Hodge over there at ABC 13 for doing that little segment on Coleman Hawkins, who played for the University of Illinois. We know he's from
Antelope,
North Highlands, Antelope.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a Sacramento product. That was a great little piece on her. She jumped on that real quick. She got him the day before they played Morehead State, which they won. In first round of the playoffs and stuff.
Away.
So, Illinois been playing really well in the tournament. As you know, they won the Big Ten tournament championship by beating a scrappy Wisconsin team last Sunday. They're a little bit on the roll. Okay, I just mentioned Coleman Hawkins, and then they have Terrence Shannon, Dane Danger, a big guy in the middle. He's a reserve, but he's been definitely serviceable for them because things change when you get into the big dance. When you're dancing with these other teams, and they're going to need that big man. And Coleman is really a power forward, but he's been playing that center position. That's because of the Big Ten action. So what Dane Danger is doing out there, and then I have to mention Marcus Domas, the point guard. He's really a shooting guard, but he's been doing really excellent at the point guard position. He got a triple double. Okay, he's 10th person in NCAA history to do that. I believe. I know that it's definitely a record for the University of Illinois and stuff. And he, he's one of those players that went into the transfer portal, from Southern Illinois University. Now, remember, I went there first. I'm a Saluki.
Okay.
And then I ended up graduating from Sacramento State University, Stingers up and stuff. But they haven't been to the Sweet 16s in many, many years. So if they get this game against Duquesne, the school out of Pennsylvania, who's looking really, really well too, they'll advance over to Sweet 16. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. And if anybody out there interested, Coleman is playing tomorrow, Saturday. I don't have the time on it. Please check it out.
Give me 2 seconds. I can pull up the time that they're going to be playing. Coleman, he's played really, really well.
He entered the draft last year. Okay, so he's a 4th-year player. He decided to come back. He learned some few things about himself that was told. Terrence Shannon too. He came back too, but with this NIL money and stuff like that, it's easy to come back.
Yeah. They play at 5:40 tomorrow.
5:40. Thank you.
5:40 on TNT.
Thank you.
Against Duquesne. So that'll be a good look. And Terrence Shannon,
got the Dukes.
I like Terrence Shannon.
Oh boy! Now he's another Porter transfer.
I didn't realize how old he was, but
right, because he played at Texas Tech.
Yeah,
his first 3 years. He's from the Chicago area.
Okay,
though.
He can play though.
He's a great kid. Okay, and before I get into his athletic side and stuff, he got a situation going on. He caught a case in Kansas, sexual assault case. So he's dealing with that right now, which the university already knew. It happened at one of Illinois' football games. I think they were playing one of those Kansas State teams, and but he was missing for 6 games. But Coleman they held it down before the federal judge said, hey, Terrence, you can come back and play. There was no reason you're going to fight your case. You're innocent to proven guilty. Let's understand there's a potential victim out there, allegedly and stuff. We have to keep that in mind too. But he was able to resume his craft, come back to the school, and he's been throwing down ever since. He scored 40 points against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, and he scored 35. Okay, he was 1 point shy of Keegan Murray's record, of scoring points in a championship game, and now he's throwing down, in NCAA. I want to say he's a first round pick, but he will probably come down to, that middle range, the 15 to the 30 range. And it really depends on his court case too.
Mm.
So you have to put a lot of bearing on that as well.
Yeah.
But he's a two-way player.
Yeah.
He can shoot the threes. Oh, he can get to the basket downhill, with ease. Okay. But he's really has a high IQ, what he's doing. Now, I do want to, because y'all did mention Jaime Jaquez for Miami, which we learned from UCLA. He played 4 years there. There's a high premium on these players that stand in school 3 or 4 years now in the NBA. Okay. Steve Kerr, Golden State Warrior, he talked about it. He got one. Trace Davis Jackson.
Yep.
And then you have Eric Spoelstra. We're talking about Jaime Jaquez. They've been talking about these things and stuff and how they fit into their system. So I think Terrence Shannon could be another piece for another team out there and help them out coming right out off the bat. Yeah. Not saying, he's going to come in doing 25 and 5 or anything like that, but he will definitely be a serviceable athlete coming into the league. I just love his game. I think he's a great young man. He does have a situation, that he has to carry for a little while. So we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. I don't want to really get into speculations, how we are as journalists. So we'll just see, what goes from there. But as far as his career, if he's able to maintain it after this one, I think he's going to be a very good player coming out of school like my own, University of Illinois.
D-Lo and KC, ESPN 13, you're home for Fighting Illini coverage.
Well, we had to tie Coleman Hawkins in there. So,
man, it's all good. It's all good. Coleman Hawkins put on for the city for the rest of this tournament.
He's throwing down. He's a great defensive player. I love it.
I want to ask you, before we talk about the Kings and the debacle last night and what may lie moving forward, I want to ask you about my boy, Antonio Harvey, out here doing God's work. Because we joked half jokingly, half tongue in cheek, saying after the All-Star selection, when Sabonis and Fox didn't make it, me and Damian, we were saying, anybody that comes through here, I need James Ham, Antonio Harvey, Hunter Patterson. Somebody needs to ask the question, did you vote for Sabonis or Fox? And look, like I said, it's easy for us to say we're not there every day. We don't have to deal. There's certain working environments that you can't just be, that way, with. So it was tongue in cheek. But my man Tone, who's about that life, who stands on business routinely, he asked Pop the question. He asked Popovich the question. And how did that go when you asked Popovich?
I'll say this, a lot of people act like a lot of these reporters, they won't even deal with Popovich. You know how he is. He can be really cynical and he can talk down on you and stuff like that. I don't care. I'm a reporter. Okay. I hear this stuff all the time. Okay. Whether you like what I say, okay, cool. I'm still going to ask the question while I'm in these spaces. Okay. You saw the video, but then again, he wouldn't declare who he voted for. You wanted to keep that privacy. Okay.
I don't know.
I asked Taylor Jenkins from Memphis. Of course, they're in the Western Conference too. He said the same thing, but he
said he didn't want to answer. See, we didn't know.
He said
that.
It's a privacy. I posted it. It's a privacy question, but he understood, where it stands. He understands where it is with Domantas Sabonis, but no, he didn't. The only person who will reveal that they voted for him is Mike Malone. And I asked that question.
He voted for him.
He voted for him.
He voted for him. I think these guys, Taylor Jenkins, Greg Popovich, they're giving us the answer.
They didn't vote for him.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they need to, and they don't want the follow-ups. They don't want the why didn't you vote for him or all that other stuff. But they're giving us the answer.
Mike Malone didn't get any backlash for saying, declaring that, hey,
because he voted for him. So there is no follow-up question, right? If Pop or Taylor Jenkins says, no, I didn't vote for him, what's the follow-up question, Tone?
Oh, no, they're just talking about, the stats that he's putting up here.
I'm saying you as a journalist, if they say,
well, why didn't you vote for him? Okay.
Thank you. They don't want it. They don't want that. They don't want to answer that.
Why didn't you vote for him? And people out there in radio land, I only picked up on that assignment because Kenny had mentioned it. Casey had mentioned it. And I said,
Oh,
you know
no,
what?
I'm
You're
a bad
right.
influence.
You're absolutely right. We need to get
Bad
into this. We need to
influence.
do an investigation. Okay. There need to be a congressional hearing for why they had this man putting up Hall of Fame numbers,
He is.
let alone all-star stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's getting disrespected like this. What are you going to do at the end of the season? Now, he's in that MVP conversation. Come on. Yeah, these questions
on NBA
asked.
TV's MVP ladder or whatever the case may be, he was top 6 on the MVP rankings, not in the All-Star game.
Not in the All-Star game.
Don't make no sense, man. But yeah, I shout out to Tone, because like I said, Tone out here standing on business. Ain't nobody gonna come to the Golden One Center and not be asked the question. Now you can decline the answer to do whatever you want to do, but Tone gonna answer the question.
That's why I go to both locker rooms.
I think it's whack that it's this private matter. Like, just if you didn't and you have your reasons for doing it, then just say you didn't vote for him.
Yeah, because we do know that he did not make that roster.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that he was not in Indianapolis, Indiana, whether you want to be or not. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Indianapolis, and I grew up 90 miles west of the place. No, but we do know that he was not there. So there was a reason for him not being there, because there were some people who did not vote for him in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the coaches.
Yeah.
Period.
You're listening to ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento and Odyssey Station. And D-Lo and KC is brought to you by Sky River Casino. Shout out to my people over at Sky River. I was just down there last Friday. I was in the high roller room. I was in the high roller room. Shout out to my people over at Phenom, man. They had me in the high roller room. So, Sky River is always a good time out for sure. I got my man Antonio Harvey with me here today. And, we're talking a number of different things, but I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Sacramento Kings and what happened last night. Losing to the Washington Wizards, the worst team in basketball. I'll ask you like this. Did your feelings about the Kings and what they could be and what you think they're going to be, did that change at all last night?
Yes. Right now, as much as I really want them to advance, but the way they're doing things, we're looking at a serious play-in situation now, folks. Okay, because now you're 1/2 a game behind Phoenix and Dallas, and you had a perfect opportunity to move up the charts, which you did not do. Okay, I'm really disgusted. That was a pathetic performance to me. All right, I know it was a back-to-back. Heard Jesse said, about an hour or so ago, you coming in from 2 different countries. All right. But you came back twice. You came back from a 19-point deficit. Okay. Tied up the game. That was in the first half. Okay. You came back from a 15-point deficit. Okay. In the second half, and you went up by 1. I think they were up 88-87 on a Basketball Fox. And you blew that. Okay. What's the point of getting there and then not delivering the knockout blow?
Yeah.
Because my honest opinion, Casey, Washington wasn't doing nothing.
They
really were just playing basketball.
They really weren't. And they missed a lot of shots in the fourth quarter. There was a number of different openings for the Kings to either take the lead or blow the game wide open, because Washington wasn't. We talk about this in the San Antonio game that they end up winning, but San Antonio was hitting everything, right? They couldn't miss. Miami, they couldn't miss. Chicago, they couldn't miss. These teams were hitting, and it was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like, I don't know what you do, because DeRozan is 7 for 7, hitting threes. That's not what was going on in Washington. Washington was missing shots left and right. They were turning the ball over.
That's why I say it was a pathetic game, man. And let me point this out too, okay? What was that? February the 7th, when the Kings lost to the Detroit Pistons, 133-120. Okay. At that time, the Pistons was the worst team in the league. Okay. And you mentioned it earlier too. So the Kings coming to this game in the district. Okay. 11-58. They owned the worst team in the league out of 30 teams. So that's 2 teams, Sacramento Kings, that you done lost to the worst teams in the league in one season in a matter of 6 weeks.
Oof.
6 weeks. That's what I'm looking at. That's why I say this is pathetic in the way that it played out. Okay. And then all this other stuff. I don't know what the situation. I heard you and JT talking about Monk and Brown, back and forth in exchange, whatever that is. No, those things can't happen either.
Mm.
Okay. What's going on in that locker room right now? Because you had 2 good quality wins, 3 quality games that you played. If you want to go back to the 98-91 loss to the New York Knicks, okay, you in the last 5-6 games been averaging like 10 steals per game.
Mhm.
All right, on top of all those deflections.
Mhm.
All right, they have 62 steals in the last 6 games. Okay, you've been playing excellent defense, everything, physicality, okay, verticality, double teams,
Mm.
deflections, steals, rebounding, offensive rebounding. They had 19 rebounds in that game against Toronto.
Mhm.
Then you're gonna come down there and you're gonna do this to us?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So the Wizards, they on March 8th and March 10th, they won back-to-back games.
Yes.
They won 112-100 over Charlotte, 110-108 over Miami.
In Miami.
Other than that, coming into this game with the Kings, they hadn't even been close in the majority of these games. There's a 137-114, 130-104, 127-98, 135-119. There's a 140-115. What these guys are getting blasted.
They're getting blown
night in and night out, and you lost to these guys.
I know they was on a 5-game losing streak. It should have been a 6-game losing streak last night.
So the original question, I said, does this change how you feel? So you thought this was a team in Sacramento that maybe turned the corner, was playing good basketball, was about to take a step into being the top 16, and now you don't feel that anymore after today.
Well, I mean, here we are again. I've been saying they've been turning the corner every time something happens. Great happen all season, but it seems like every time they turn this corner, they blow a tire. Okay, now they know it's been like 4 flat tires and the spare tire. You done blew that one out too since you turned the corner.
Them boys have been on cinder blocks a couple times.
They got robbed.
Yeah, they go outside. They on
Southside Chicago. Deep Southside Chicago. We taking this. We taking all of
this. They out there at O Block.
I only feeling that I have at this point, and of course I want them to do well, is you're a playing team. You most definitely playing. You're 9-6 since the All-Star break. Okay, and it's 15 games. You have about 13 more games left. Okay, you're half game behind 2 teams that you pretty much didn't handle. Except I know they lost 1 game to Phoenix, but they didn't beat Dallas twice. And of course, we have a upcoming 2-game match with them in Sacramento over a 3-day period and stuff. What else is there to think about? Okay, this game tomorrow in Orlando is going to be tough. Okay, because Jamal Mosley got these cats playing. I don't even know if I'm going to give you that to you. You might come back home 1-3, which they don't normally come back home like that. I don't think they did that on a road stretch this season. They've mainly been coming back over 500. Okay, they could be 2 games under 500 if they lose this game tomorrow. It's just a wait and see thing with me. But at this point, Sacramento Kings to me look like a playing team. All right, they're not going to fall down to 9 or 10. I don't think that, but right there where they're sitting at, okay, they may have a little opening there. I don't want to wish any bad on what's going on with New Orleans. I know
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram is out with a bone bruise. He's going to be reevaluated in a couple of weeks. Blah blah blah. But you got to start making that move. And every time we say that they need to start making that move, they make a bad move. Okay. So where they are right now is what they are, a playing team. You're going to prove me wrong, okay? And I hope they're not having any issues in that playoff, in that locker room between Brown and Monk.
Well, so I've said about that, and I'll just tell you right now, I'll let everybody know. I mean, that's going to be a theme that I ask people today because I'm not exactly sure how the NBA goes with that. I know how it is in a high school locker room, in a college locker room, and that's not okay. That's not acceptable in those arenas. You've been around so many NBA locker rooms, talked to so many NBA players. Is that commonplace? These are adults. It's a different arena. Is that commonplace where those things can happen? And today, Malik and Mike are laughing and joking, having a good time.
They do that
like nothing happened.
Professionals. They do that.
So is this common?
Well, they know they have to come back out and show a good face. Both of them. Okay. Mike has told us, he has been in the wrong a couple times, and you call Malik in the office and apologize with him, and then they move on. So professionally, that is what need to be done. But what I'm really getting concerned about, after been covering the league, at least the Kings, for the last 20 years, how these things kind of like shift. Okay, we know Malik is coming off that 2-year, $18-19 million deal. He's in line for a big payday after this season. Okay, we know he's not a starter. I mean, he done played 450.
He hasn't started. I think, if I'll put it to you like this, Tom, if the Kings re-sign him and one of the things was, hey, I want to be a starter, I think that's acceptable. I think the Kings will be fine. So I don't want to. He hasn't been a starter. I think he's a starter caliber player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not diminishing that. Okay, but Malik has been in the league. He done played 454 games. I last checked, and he has only probably started like 37 to 38 through his span. Okay, to me, it looks like where you at right now suits you well. But if there's an opportunity for you to start, I understand that. I do understand that. I mean, what he's averaging, 16 points a game,
yeah, around
3 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
He's blowing it up on the steals and the blocks. Okay, he's having one of his best seasons. He got 7 games in as far as playoff experience, 1 game play in. I think that was with the Lakers and stuff. He's looking really well. Okay, but where you are, and I kind of see it from Mike Brown's perspective, is you're the energy coming off the bench, man. Okay, you change that whole second unit. You're the playmaker. You keep them all involved. You and Trey Lyles at times and stuff. So I understand that.
Yeah,
understand that. But at some point, I mean, he's get the confidence like, well, hell, I can do whatever the hell I want. I hope he doesn't get to that point. Okay, where it started getting crazy.
Yeah,
and he's a really mature, funny guy.
Yeah.
If you're in the locker room, man,
everybody seems to love him.
He's a really respectful guy. And where a lot of that stuff come back. That's the way he was raised and stuff. We definitely want to keep him around. Okay. I've said this weeks before, and I'll say it again because a lot of things are coming up, not only with his contract. The Kings go out to look out Keegan Murray. Okay. All right. He'll be finishing up his
third year next
year.
Well, this year second, next year third.
Next year, okay. And then De'Aaron's going to have to be taken care of. They already got Sabonis ticket. Then you got Mike Brown. Mike Brown signed a 4-year, $20 million contract on May 9th, 2022. I looked that up. And he's in his second year, okay. He's not at Steve Kerr caliber, situation right now. We know he got extended for a couple of years, 17 per, okay. This is a man that took the team, from not making the playoffs in 16 years in his first year, blah, blah, blah. So you got to look at all of those type of things. You want to keep all these core people together. That's why I see why Monty probably didn't make a big splash, even though they was going for Pascal, earlier, that we have to look at the future and see what we're going to do. Now, one of the good things that came out of that they elevated Keon from a two-way player to a full roster player.
And to be honest with you, that may be one of the moves that saves their season, is that they did that, man. So man, I wish I had more time. You got to get back up here, man. Yeah, I know you're a busy dude, man. We got to find a way.
I mean,
I appreciate you.
I do, man.
I appreciate you making time for me today, though, man.
I was covering a conference on crime yesterday, so I'm in there listening to people talk about mob style retail theft and property crimes and fentanyl crisis and stuff, man. I wish I could divide a lot more time, though. But
we gonna
as I say, I'm a real reporter. I got to get out here and do the work for the people too, so they can understand what's going on here. I love covering my Sacramento Kings and stuff like that, but I'm all over the place.
We appreciate you, dog. Man.
I'll be back though.
Antonio Harvey, man.